the all-new Sports Visions with Dale Williams and DJ Jones, your 1980 national champions. 1980 and 81 SEC champions, two damn good dogs.
Welcome to the all-new Sports Visions. I'm DJ Jones alongside my good friend and traveling partner Dale Williams. How are you?
What's up, DJ?
How you doing, man? I'm doing really special because obviously, you know, we're week 5 into the high school football season, week 4 into the college football season. But guess what? We are week 1 into Columbus Youth football season.
Columbus Youth football, one of the most underrated Saturdays of the year in the Columbus area, man.
I tell you what, we'll have that opportunity to talk a little bit about opening day, the festivities down at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium, as well as the Atlanta Falcons report and a roundup of the SEC schools.
That's right, DJ. A lot of football still to be played, DJ, but really, it's going to go by real quick.
All right, all that and more coming up next on Sports Vision.
If you're even thinking about a new car, you've got to come to Headquarter Nissan.
Because right now, you can get the lowest payments of the year.
New Sentras from just $129 a month.
Altimas from just $159 a month.
And Rogues from just $169 a month. And all backed by our value plan featuring a lifetime warranty with an unlimited amount of time and miles and more. Lease for less. Columbus is a Nissan town.
Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones. You might know me from my athletic career at Carver High School, University of Georgia, or my sports broadcasting career. I know a lot of people. But when it comes to an attorney I trust, I call Forrest B. Johnson.
I'm Forrest Johnson of Forrest B. Johnson and Associates. And I want to let you know how proud we are to be a part of your community, a part of the Columbus community and the Phoenix, Alabama community. Consider us first. When you or any member of your family has been involved in an automobile accident, remember, car wreck, get a check.
Call now, 706-223-5380.
Call now.
Welcome back to Sports Visions, Dale. As I mentioned in the opening, again, week 5 of high school football, week 4 of college football. But now the kids, after waiting all these weeks, man, they finally get a chance to start playing beautiful festivities down at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium last week as opening day for Columbus Youth football got underway.
Really, DJ, that Columbus Youth football piece is big. From 4 years old to 12-year-olds, kids are playing football, and that's one of the good things about this area, right? This is a football community. You get it in when you're young, and really, for its learning, that probably is one of the best places to get your tutelage from.
Great job by the folks at Columbus Youth Football, man. I tell you what, great support, great participation. Had about 5,000 people down at Memorial Stadium again on the grounds, and the kids, of course, the kids were both the cheerleaders and the players were
That's right.
Just as happy. You can tell that they've been waiting because they had to watch the high school games, they had to watch the college games on TV, and now they finally get an opportunity to string up their cleats and snap their helmets on their chin straps on.
Like I said, DJ, it's one of the most underrated Saturdays in town, but one of the big things about it, the kids get to start early. They're anxious to play, but really to get them involved at this early age in football is probably why we have a great football community that we do have. Players are getting better and better, even because they're starting younger. But one of the good things about it, DJ, I think really promoting football again and making sure everything is safe. But I think the people at Columbus Youth Football do a great job, and we got to get involved and help them a little bit more.
Absolutely, and I know that Columbus Youth Football is basically what's here now. Pop Warner was what you and I both played out at Edgewood, and you know what? That was the foundation to our careers, and we had an opportunity to play high school football as well as college, and myself into the NFL. But again, that's where it started. Those were our roots, and we know how much it meant. Like we said, we always say on the radio and on television, we know what it's like to hear your name called on the radio. You see your pictures on video on television, as well as read your name in the paper.
Well, you know, DJ, is very impactful for a young person, you know, even from the cheerleader standpoint to these guys, little guys playing. A 4-year-old playing, remembering when he scored his first touchdown, really he's going to continue to grow and score more touchdowns when he gets bigger. But really, this speaks volumes for this community. This is a football community, and one of the big things about it, DJ, is as quick as they can get involved, the better they can stay out of trouble.
Now, you talk about the football, Columbus Youth football being underrated, but the cheerleading for the young ladies, again, that's a part of a team, and they get to learn some wonderful things together about, you know, working, you know, a routine, doing the routine. I have to be at practice on time. I mean, these youngsters, there's a lot of life lessons, as we always talk about, in both the cheerleading as well as the football players. And again, I want to salute all the cheerleading coaches and the football coaches, because these are volunteers. These people don't get a dime. Many of them come on after work, and my hat's off to them.
My hat's off to them, dude. I had my years My son growing up in Columbus Youth football and us playing Pop Warner football, I knew what route he was going to take. But when, like you said, DJ, and we always say, the discipline piece, the things that you get from playing athletics and playing football is big. It's something that a parent can't really teach, but it also helps that kid to get along with one another, you know, listen to discipline, you know, just being the great player and person that you want them to be. And, you know, if they can't play and they don't like it, don't make them play. But really, you're planting a seed in these young people that they really want to play some football.
And you know what, before we go, I want to definitely make mention of this, is that, you know, with all the concussion information and, of course, all the rules being implemented into professional football as well as college, you know, the turnout still was, I would have thought that, you know, maybe they would have a little fall off, but you know what, it looks like they've had an increase.
It's never fall off, DJ. You know, you got grandmama there, you got granddaddy there, the mama, the daddy, the aunties, the uncles, the cousins. It's a family affair.
Tell you what we're going to do. We'll take a short break. This is Sports Visions.
Give your gathering something to gather around. Try catering at Chick-fil-A.
Good morning, everyone. This is Devin here at Headquarters Nissan with the Sports Vision Network. Listen, I want to tell you guys about a special event we got going on. For the rest of this month, we have up to $6,000 off on Nissan Altimas. You heard me right, up to $6,000 off on Nissan Altimas. And if you want to roll, come on out to Headquarters Nissan. We're going to give you up to $5,000 off at Headquarters Nissan on Nissan Rogues. And guess what? We are rolling out the Nissan Kick, the new SUV, great gas saver. Guess what? Come out and test drive any Nissan Kick on a Saturday. And guess what? We're gonna have a special guest waiting here for you at Headquarters Nissan. So listen, come on down to Headquarters Nissan, the #1 retail store in the state of Georgia, and get your deal. You get a deal, you get a deal, everybody get a deal.
Broke my personal record. Aflac? No, good break. Good break. I'm so sorry we can't make your barbecue. I'm just sick about it. Aflac? Different kind of sick. If I can't work after surgery, how am I gonna pay my rent? All these bills. Aflac! Oh, Aflac.
And they pay you cash in just one day.
See how Aflac helps cover everyday expenses at aflac.com.
And welcome back to Sports Visions Deal. College football is off and running, man.
That's
we
right.
are already at week 5, and actually 4. And you know what? The University of Georgia has raised themselves up to #2 in the Associated Press poll, right behind the University of Alabama. So that's a great thing.
Great thing, DJ, and definitely Alabama deserves to be #1, playing lights out, playing the best football in the country right now. But really, like I say, DJ, we got a lot of football to be played.
Absolutely, and again, with even with Auburn being beat by LSU the other day, they didn't drop out of the top 10. So that's
big.
That's big for Gus Malzahn, and it says a lot about his football team.
It says a lot about his football team, and also it says a lot about LSU. You know, really Auburn opening up against Washington, DJ, that helps them out tremendously because Washington is still in the top 10. So one of the things that we can say, DJ, is that when you're playing quality teams, even win or lose early now, it really won't harm you.
Well, let's start with #1 Alabama, man. They went down to Oxford, Mississippi, took the Ole Miss Rebels out behind the barn and gave them a good butt whooping.
Well, you know, really, it seems like they're still scoring, DJ. I mean, really, one of the big things about them, man, you know, all those guys, them Jimmys and Joes that we really didn't know, we finding out that they got players, you know, from the back end, DJ, to offensively, and the job that Tua has done, DJ. He has definitely got to be the front runner of the Heisman Trophy.
You know what, though? You know, you're right about that, but at the same time, when it gets down to it, he's only playing a half of football, so I don't even think, Dale, he's going to accumulate enough stats to actually warrant him winning a Heisman Trophy, because between he and Jalen Hurts, I mean, when Tua comes in, obviously, it's a vertical game. It just explodes.
Right. I mean,
and again, it's no slouch when you bring in Jalen Hurts, but at the same time, I haven't seen quite a quarterback this developed as young as Tua.
Yeah, I mean, really, you can see the development on him. You can tell that he's a player's coach. I mean, his dad coached him. I mean, really, when he gets ready to throw that ball, DJ, he knows exactly where he wants to throw it. He knows exactly where he wants to place it. And it seems like it clicks every time.
Now, you said something interesting that his dad coached him, but how many players do we know that were coached by their dad? Tua is a talent.
Well, he's a talented player. He's a smart player. He's a student of the game. He can read the defenses, and really he got good players around him, and he's making those players better. And one good thing about a good quarterback, he makes everybody around him better, and I think really that was the winning edge of him being the starting quarterback. DJ.
Now, of course, it was time for everybody to get into the SEC schedule, and of course, the next opponent for Alabama. Obviously, they have to take care of business, man. Texas A&M is coming in, and you know what? They have a pretty doggone football team.
They have a good team, DJ. They played Clemson tooth and nail on a couple of calls here and there. They beat Clemson. But I think really this is the time that everybody's getting into their conference play. In those first 4 games, we always talk about the first 4 games in the season, DJ. And I think really this is one of their toughest games. A test game again, because they have a couple of tests early on. But I think Alabama's going to be able to handle them. I think they're still the Alabama team.
Absolutely, and again, it's a must-see at least the first quarter or two when Tua is in the game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. They jumped over Clemson for the number 2 spot in this week's AP poll, and I know when you talk about going out to Missouri, there's a quarterback out there, man, that's not a joke.
Well, this is when we talk about tests. This is definitely a big test for Georgia this week. I mean, we saw Drew Lock light Georgia for almost 500 yards last year, DJ, and 4 TDs. So really their back end and their secondary are going to have to play the best game that they possibly can play. But I think one of the things that I do notice about them, that the opportunity, the explosion that they had with the receiver piece, the Miko Hartman piece, from getting the ball in the right places, and they're playing pretty good defense. So it's going to be interesting, man, to see how they take on Missouri.
Again, the Dogs last week did a great job of executing. Of course, too many penalties for Kirby, and of course, too many penalties to, of course, contend. They have to clean that up.
That's right.
But one thing that I really loved, I loved the emergence of Elijah Holyfield. A tremendous day on the ground. Don't know quite what was going on with Swift, but it said there was a coach's decision once Holyfield got going that they kept him in the game.
Well, I heard that he had a slight groin. That's what I heard, about. But really, I am elated with the running of Elijah Holyfield. I think really he runs downhill. He is an accident that you don't want to happen. He runs hard, and I mean, really, to kind of match up with the physicality of the offensive line, I think he's the right back to be in there in big and tough yardage.
Now, again, you mentioned Heisman hopefuls. I'll tell you what, Miko Hartman definitely inserted his name. Of course, a long punt return, so this guy can score on multiple ways on the Bulldogs offense, and I like the fact that Jake Fromm is just phenomenal, man. Again, you can talk about what you want him, but this guy is efficient, he's accurate, and he is smart. Great quarterback, and again, the young freshman behind him, when you talk Justin Fields, man, he just continues to impress.
I mean, the key word you said, DJ, was efficient. He's a great ball manager. He makes some good decisions. I mean, really, that's what really I think that makes him the quarterback that he really is. He's smart. He knows where to throw the ball, but he's handling the ball very well. He's not turning the ball over. And when you can do that and score and get the ball to your playmakers, everything's pretty easy then.
I tell you what, I'm loving my DBs as well. They're making plays.
That's
They are playing big-time ball. DeAndre Baker and J.R. Reed, man, those guys, you got 2 great ones back there, and I expect to see those guys playing on Sunday for a long, long time.
I see that too, DJ, and you've been an old DB like me. When you're prepared, you can play a lot faster. And you can tell these guys are prepared because they can kind of read stuff before it even starts, and I think that makes them a whole lot better team. I think the younger guys are getting better, and they're going to be able to prove themselves this week because really when you play in the secondary and you playing against a pass-happy team like Missouri is, you're going to get a chance to make some plays.
Key point for the Bulldogs this week, they got to clean up the penalties. They can't have another Middle Tennessee type game. They have to go out and play with the same energy, the same passion, but they have to have their heads in the right place.
You got to have them in the right place. They got to play a lights-out defensive game, and really I think they can learn a lot from last year's film because really, I mean, this guy actually lit Georgia's secondary up last year, and if Georgia wasn't able to run the ball last year with such success, they probably would have lost that game. But I think that's what they're going to do again. They're going to run the ball, keep the ball away from Drew Luck, but I think they're going to have a great opportunity to upset some people.
Speaking of upset, LSU came on the Plains last Saturday and got in and stole one, man. But I tell you what, just a heartbreaking loss. To lose like that in the last seconds with the field goal, but it didn't come down to that. Of course, earlier in the game, there were some opportunities that Auburn didn't take advantage of, and I think the score definitely would have been a lot different had they taken advantage of those opportunities.
I think so too, DJ. I think one of the biggest things I kind of felt that Gus let his foot off the wheel, off the gas, when early on, because really I thought they had some opportunity to make some plays that they didn't make. I think that big, nasty running back, they still got to find him, DJ, because I think it's some things that they want to do. But really getting conservative is not one thing. You got a good quarterback for the first time in a long time, DJ. Throw the ball a little bit more, get a little bit more explosive, and stop being so conservative.
Absolutely. And again, Gus Malzahn's going to have the opportunity to go up against a team that he cherished for a long, long time. And actually, he got a great contract this past offseason because Arkansas was wanting to bring him back.
That's right, DJ. Wrong decision by Auburn. This guy's down in Arkansas right now. So it's going to be interesting, and I think Gus, he loves to play against Arkansas, being from there. And I think really that they're going to be put it this way, you'll see a different Auburn team this week.
And, of course, we mentioned in the AP poll they didn't drop off too far out of the top 10. They didn't drop out of the top 10 after all, so that tells you how those voters out there are thinking about this Auburn Tigers football team.
They really see what we see, DJ, in this area, that Auburn is a good football team, beating Washington, and it's narrowly losing against LSU, and LSU is coming too, DJ, because really like, hey, you just played against the number 7 team in the country, and you beat them at home. That says a lot for you.
Last but not least, I tell you, man, what's happening to our Yellow Jackets? I know that they played a Pittsburgh team that beat them pretty handily. I know that there were some mistakes that were made by Georgia Tech and the Yellow Jackets, but you got to take those ACC wins when you get them.
When you get those conference, when you start playing in the conference, you got to win all those games. And I really think, Taquan, he does everything that he possibly can, but I think really for calling the plays, offensively, they're going to have to pass the ball a whole lot more, DJ. But again, he still gets over 100 yards rushing, and really that passing piece, you can't just pass periodically. You got to work on it and develop it. You're an old quarterback, DJ. You got to work on passing, man.
I tell you what, though, psychologically, we're going to see how this affects them this week.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I know they're going to come out and play Clemson hard. And really, when you run a triple option, I don't care who you're playing against, you got a chance. And they got a quarterback. I think really Paul Johnson's going to have to throw out all the stops, call out every play. But he can't play Clemson conservatively.
And you know what? Even though Clemson has 4 possible top NFL picks on that defensive line, they're going to get tested by this triple option, man, because it's different than any other game that you play.
That's right, DJ. Like they said, just like Novocaine, just keep it a minute. It'll work. You'll feel it. And they're going to keep on, Paul Johnson going to keep on running the option, and he's going to get some explosive plays and keep Clemson's offense off the field. That's another piece about the way Georgia Tech run their offense.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our Chick-fil-A picks of the week.
All right, DJ, we got Alabama be hosting Texas A&M over at Bryant-Denny. Auburn will play Arkansas at Jordan-Hare. Georgia will travel to Missouri to play the Mizzou Tigers. And we got Georgia Tech will be playing Clemson up at Bobby Dodd. Texas Christian will go against Texas this week. Stanford will play Oregon. Washington will play Arizona State. And Wisconsin will play Iowa.
This is the HBCU Football Classic schedule for the weekend of September 22nd, 2018. The Weston Classic, Livingston versus Lincoln in Salisbury, North Carolina at Alumni Memorial Stadium at 1 p.m. Eastern. The Chicago Football Classic, the Morehouse Maroon Tigers against the Miles Bears in Chicago, Illinois at Soldier Field. Game time is 3:30 p.m. Central. The Gulf Coast Classic, the Alabama A&M Bulldogs against the Southern Jaguars in Mobile, Alabama at Ladd People Stadium at 4 p.m. Central. The 35th Circle City Classic, Bethune-Cookman versus the Howard Bisons in Indianapolis, Indiana at Lucas Oil Field at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN3. And the Bull City Gridiron Classic, the Duke Blue Devils against the North Carolina Central Eagles in Durham, North Carolina at Wallace Wade Stadium. I'm Amber Williams for the Sports Visions Radio Network.
Don't miss the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, featuring the Morehouse Maroon Tigers versus the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. This is a cat fight you don't want to miss. Saturday, October the 6th at the A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. Kickoff time is at 2 p.m. Be sure to check out all the classic events, including the classic cocktails and networking. Don't you dare miss the classic parade, tailgating, and one of the largest vendor fairs around. That's the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, the granddaddy of them all.
Give your gathering something to gather around. Try catering at Chick-fil-A.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Until now. Now open in Columbus. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
And welcome back to Sports Vision. It's now time for our Atlanta Falcons report. And Dale, you can tell by the look on my face that the Falcons took care of business.
Yeah, you look kind of happy there, DJ. You know, really, it was great to see Matt Ryan play with some passion, DJ. He played like it meant something to him, DJ. On his touchdown run, I was proud of him for that, and really just escaping a couple of times during the game, using his legs to go keep the yardstick moving.
I was glad to see offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian get some results in the red zone because it gets some folks off of his back because, again, you know, it's way too early to give up on the Falcons, even though they have these horrific injuries on defense. And, of course, Devontae Freeman, missing and losing him for a couple of weeks, they still were able to go out and take care of business.
They were, DJ, and like you said, scoring in the red zone, that was a big concern. But one thing, I got one pet peeve. You know, after I looked at the film, DJ, I saw this. When the Falcons went up 31-14 and they get in that prevent defense, you know, we always say that's what it is, a prevent defense. It prevents them from winning. They'll play away a Hail Mary away, DJ, from losing that game.
Yes, they are, but they got the win, and I know that they're going to take a note of what you just said, and they don't want to put themselves in that position again. But you know, the next game, again, it's all about the next game, and now they've got the win. They're 1-1. We're looking forward to them moving, of course, up in that particular division.
Well, we know one thing about their division, that NFL South is the toughest division in the NFL. And they got Drew Brees coming to town. And you know Drew Brees will light you up if you don't light him up.
That's right. But, again, you saw the Falcons, or at least the Saints, laid an egg last week, not performing up to their capabilities.
That's
but at
right.
the same time, Drew Brees is Drew Brees, one of the greatest of all time. And hopefully it'll be a nice shootout between he and Matt Ryan.
Well, I think it's going to be a shootout, DJ, but, you know, I think really the way you stop Drew Brees is that your offense got to possess the ball, keep him on the sideline.
Absolutely. And, again, when you talk about the Atlanta Falcons offense now, Tevin Coleman having the opportunity to showcase his talents again with Devontae being out several weeks. You know what? It's going to come a point in time, and they've already given Devontae his money. Now Tevin Coleman is on the last year of his contract. You're going to see right here again if he's the guy that he needs to be, because he has an opportunity of a lifetime to showcase what he can do.
He really does have a great opportunity, DJ, and really, like you said, you know, he is auditioning for a job. And I think really if the Falcons can't sign him or don't have enough money to sign him, he'll be, you know, somebody else will get him. But the other thing, DJ, that I missed, you know, you being a quarterback, DJ, you got to throw the ball to Sanu, DJ.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? There's so many targets and so many decisions to make. And again, you look across the field and you got Sanu, you got Julio, you got Ridley, and then you got Coleman in the backfield, man, and then you got Hooper.
Yeah, he's a good tight end.
It's just like playing darts. Wherever he wants to go, it seems like he has targets.
Well, you know, he's got targets, he's got weapons, like we always said. But really, I think Sanu is real big, and you can't forget that he's on the field.
All right. Let's take a look at our NFL picks of the week.
All right, the NFL, we got the Falcons against the Saints. Got the Bengals playing against the Carolina Panthers. The Steelers will be at Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. The Chargers will travel to L.A. to play the Rams. The Cowboys will travel to Washington to see the Seahawks. And the Titans and Jaguars will play, and the Giants will play the Texans. Sports Vision, sponsored by Aflac, Chick-fil-A, Mel and Abe's, Styles by Denise, Jordan Girls, Taylor Funeral Home, Forrest B. Johnson and Associates, State Farm, Jimmy Watts Agency, and Dr. Jamie Winchester.
E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse has been your most trusted name in men's fashion for more than 50 years. We've offered the area's best selection of top quality, name brand suits, accessories, and casual wear at the most competitive prices around. Customer service is our top priority. We're the professionals generations have trusted for the best quality and absolutely the best deals. We are E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse. We are simply the best.
Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones. You might know me from my athletic career at Carver High School, the University of Georgia, or my sports broadcasting career. I know a lot of people, but when it comes to an attorney I trust, I call Forrest B. Johnson.
I'm Forrest Johnson of Forrest B. Johnson and Associates. And I want to let you know how proud we are to be a part of your community, a part of the Columbus community and the Phoenix, Alabama community. Consider us first. When you or any member of your family has been involved in an automobile accident, remember, car wreck, get a check.
Call now, 706-223-5380.
Call now.
And welcome back to today's final segment of Sports Visions, Dale. Just a terrific week of football. And it's going to, again, you know, the good thing about it is that another one is right behind it.
Right behind DJ. And, you know, like I said, when football season starts, everything goes faster and faster.
Faster and faster, but you know what? We won't pass up these Atlanta Braves because they are positioning themselves. 6.5 games, last count. They were in front in their division, man. So they're, you know what, the last game, I think 6th game is the game that they have to go ahead and sew up everything.
That's right, DJ, but this is the biggest week for the Atlanta Braves for this whole year. St. Louis series and the Philly series, those are going to be big. They can nip this thing in the bud. If they win at least 6 out of these 8 games, they'll be good to go. And really, Phillies, they play them the last week of the month in Philly. So really, you don't want to get down to 3 games, DJ, and you got to go play Philadelphia at Philly. You don't want to do that.
All right, baby. Let's cheer. Let's go Braves.
Let's go
Braves, baby, because it won't be much longer for playoffs. We'll be right here.
Right.
Now, of course, when we talk about our high school football games of the week, man, you know, they've gone over quite well. I've been impressed with all of the people that have come out to greet us. And, again, man, just showing love and support for not only the radio show but the television show, and just being very appreciative of us being able to take time out to get them some exposure.
And man, great. The exposure has been great. You know, we thank our people at Academy Sports and Outdoors, headquartered Nissan, even Ross Catering to come in to help really kind of celebrate and promote our Sports Vision radio show.
Absolutely. So the big game this week, again, will be out at Connect Stadium this Friday night. Of course, we've been down at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium for the first few weeks opening football, high school football. However, of course, going out to Connect Stadium, man, they've really done a great job with enhancing that stadium, adding the track and the artificial surface.
It's a great area, man, and I still wish they would do it at Memorial Stadium, but one of the biggest things about it's a nice place to play. You know, they play a lot of events on that field, and really to have these people to do that from Muskogee County to the city of Columbus is big, but it's a great facility.
I was impressed with the turnout as well. You know, Carver's coming into the game undefeated at 4-0, and Columbus High, Phil Marino, and they're having a good season as well, right. And they always have a heck of a student section.
They have a great student section, great turnout. The fan participation is great for this game.
All right, well, that's going to do it for all the sports we have for today. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Have a nice week.
Be sure to check out our Facebook page, Sports Visions TV Show, or our website, www.sportsvisionsusa.com.